reason we sing the national anthem at conservative events is because we want to know if there's any progressive spies in the audience who might write a negative report, and if we sing the national anthem before we get started, their skin bursts into flames, and a giant hole opens up in the ground, and sulfur comes out, and they descend back into the fetid hell that they came from. Charlie, we are one small meteorite away from losing the entire future of the country. I never want to see this many sensible young people in one room at the same time. Not ever. It's dangerous. It worries me. Well, that may work on your friends back home, Matt, but it doesn't work on me because I live in Hollywood and I know what it's like. By the way, people say, why don't you move someplace a little more sensible? Why do you have to live under the red eye of Mordor out there, which is exactly where we scurry around in the shadows? Well, the answer is, you know, if you're going to be a volcanologist, you got to live under the volcano, right? I mean, I live in a world where they're actively, you know, possessing, they're trying hard to get, like, human rights for broccoli where I come from. So I have to be out there. You should be your own corporations. If you're not already, you need to do it. You'll be look, we're all going to be working for Charlie Kirk one day or another. We'll just, you know, get it over with. But seriously, so look, you want to talk to people about political correctness, we can put it in a nutshell. They can talk about political correctness all they want to, and they can say that this is the world that we want to live in, but they go to movies just like we do, and they go pay movies, and they pay the same ticket prices as we do, and I'm here to tell you that when I saw Skyfall, or the last James Bond movie, James Bond did not go after the villain with a strongly worded letter from the United Nations as his only weapon, and he didn't leave the scene in a Prius driving away at a sensible speed. Okay? So, we're the team that believes in loud guns, fast cars, and hot women, and freedom. And if you can't sell that, these feminists aren't sexy. Consent forms. May I undo the next button on your blouse? Yes. Sorry, I don't want to spoil the mood, but I do have to get this notarized. Okay, we can now proceed to step 17G, subparagraph 1. That's what they're selling.
Don't forget.
All right, that's what they're selling. He was the best dressed man in the world. So if George Washington were here today, George Washington would be standing here. He'd have a $3,000 Armani suit. He'd be wearing an $800 Hermes shirt. He'd have diamond cufflinks. He'd have $2,000 shoes. He'd have an $800 haircut. He'd be holding an AR-15 with a laser target designator because he was a badass swinging dude. That's who George Washington was. He was a dangerous, deadly, awesome, great-looking guy. I want to do one about feminism. And I want to go into one of these classes where these women are telling young men that they're born rapists. That they're rapists, that they have to be maintained, that every single boy in the class is a defective girl, that there's something wrong with all of them, that they don't share enough, and they're a little bit too energetic, and they need to be either medicated or calmed down, because God knows any second now, they're just going to go off and just start raping either women, or furniture, or computers, or whatever is handy. And I just want to get into a discussion with them. Now, I happen to have a friend named Kelly Carlson who was on Nip Tuck. She's the most beautiful creature ever lived. She's an actress. And I just want to have her appear, just right next to me, just like the shimmering color TV image. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's like, so what? You're his wife? Yeah. So how do you know he's not a rapist? And I want to have her say, because I don't date rapists. How hard is this? I date gentlemen. He's a gentleman. Most of the time. You are a naughty girl. And you're going to get your reward a little later. Feminism exists because decent men allow it to exist. It doesn't exist in the Middle East because there are no decent men in the Middle East. It exists here because men allow it to exist. What are you saying? I'm saying that you can have this opinion only because big, strong men are allowing you to have this opinion. What? Lady, if I really, truly didn't like what you were saying, I'd come up there and beat you to a pulp. There's nothing you can do about it. I'd call the police, and other men would come. To maintain the deal. But I see people in a Prius, driving a Prius, and they have a bumper sticker that says, Free Tibet. What are they saying? Well, they're saying, I'm in favor of freeing Tibet because I'm a moral person and I think the Tibetans are suffering. Well, Tibet's not going to be freed because some loser in a Prius on the 405 has a bumper sticker that says Free Tibet. If you want to free Tibet, your bumper sticker should say United States Marine Corps. Because if you really want to free Tibet, that's how you do it.